keeping you waiting. We had some issues with videos. Yes, it was too high resolution on videos and we had to change it to HD videos. But anyway, welcome back. Today we will talk about ombre brows, but not only. Thank you for waiting. I can tell that there are so many of you already here. Topic of live stream. Today's live stream. We will talk about pyramid of linergist. So we will build the house and we will talk about what is the most important part of our work, of our technique. And here we are. This is our pyramid, and on the bottom of the pyramid, of the bottom of our house, we have movement and line. Then we have a device, pigments. Next we have courses, workshops, practice on skin, models, marketing, and we follow, of course, clients' footprints, our scheme that you already know from my previous live stream and my previous online videos. Yes, we will save live stream. Hello again. Hello everyone from all over the world. Thank you for joining this live session. During my master classes and workshops all over Poland and the world, I was analyzing and talking to you about your experience with different training academies, different artists, different trainers and teachers. And there are so many of you who are very disappointed by very low quality, with a very low quality courses offered by many masters and training schools. And today I would like to summarize everything you should know about pigmentation, what's right, what's wrong, where you should start. We will talk about how to choose the right course, right training. We will talk about movements, what allows you to create perfect ombre brow. And not only, because we will talk about movements that in general allows you to create beautiful lips, eyeliner or hair show technique. But as I told you before, by talking to you, what I've noticed is that your pyramid, your house, is completely ruined. Because of the low quality courses, because of so many different posts on Facebook, because of so many different courses and pictures that you can see on social media, you start your journey, or you start your you start your journey in the wrong way. Of course, we can see beautiful pictures of different work of different artists all over the world, and you concentrate on their work too much. That's my opinion. Instead of analyzing your own mistakes, your own techniques. And today I would like to start at the bottom of our house, at the bottom of our pyramid. We will talk about the movement at first. I'm so happy that there are so many of you. Let's start. If we would like to divide movements and lines into two separate categories, we could divide movements, correct movements. We have a movement toward ourselves, yes, towards you. We have a movement away from you. We have a pendulum movement, so combination of both movements. And this is the movement I work with, but of course all of these three movements are correct. So if you don't feel confident with pendulum movement, you can work with movement away from you, movement towards yourself, and you can create also beautiful ombre brows, ombre technique. If your final effect satisfies you, if your final effect allows you to achieve beautiful healed effect, this is the correct movement. So, to summarize, correct movements towards you, away from you, and pendulum movement. When we create line, we need to know how to create line if we want to create hair stroke technique, if we want to create beautiful lips, if we want to create beautiful eyeliner. In all these techniques, we need to know how to create line. Yes? Of course, when you create ombre brows, sometimes you prefer to outline the brow instead of working with segmental technique. Yes, we outline the bottom and top part. So, if we would like to define the line, we have the constant line, we have the overlapping line, and backward and forward movement when we talk about the line. And I would like to show you the video how to create each of these movements and each of these lines. And of course, we will start with the line. Please pay attention to how I hold the handpiece. Whenever I create line or I show you, present, demonstrate shading movement, please pay attention to how I hold my handpiece, okay? So, before I play the video, look at my hand position. I hold my handpiece very low, near to cartridge. I hold handpiece with small angle, like it's not 80 or 70 degrees. I'm not able to tell you how many degrees or what angle I hold my handpiece, but with slight angle, okay? What matters is when you create line, you work towards yourself very slowly. Your movement has to be constant, okay? And remember that we work in the skin only with the tip of the needle, okay? So let's start. Our first movement, steady and constant movement. We go in the skin very slowly. The beginning of the movement is transparent, translucent, very soft and delicate. Yes? We can say exactly the same thing about the bottom part of this movement. Next movement, when we create the line, is overlapping movement. And the same. The beginning and end of this movement is very transparent and translucent. And backward and forward movement. You can choose any of these movements to create outline, contour on the lips or hair stroke. When I work with hair stroke technique, I use all of them. Okay. Moving to our shading movements, shading technique. You all know by watching my YouTube channel that I work with pendulum movement. Pendulum movement is nothing else than a combination of both movements, towards yourself and away from you, yes? So we combine both of these movements. What matters is the speed of your hand. You have to work very steady. Your movement has to be constant. Don't speed up, okay? And work slowly. It's your yoga session. So first movement, it's pendulum movement. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, please remember to ask them all the time. Yes, I will try to answer to your questions whenever I have the time and whenever I see your question. Another movement, second movement, is a movement towards ourselves. Again, the top of the movement and bottom of the movement is very transparent. I work slowly, maybe not slowly, but my movement is constant, yes? And I move slowly to the side of my movement, or my segment, that will be correct. Remember that your palm doesn't press your handpiece. You have to have the, look how I hold my handpiece. You have to have the empty area between your thumb and your pointing finger. Your thumb doesn't push your handpiece. Otherwise, you create zebra on eyebrows, and we don't really like that. Another movement is movement upward. So it's upward movement. You can use this movement where we create top part of the brow, beginning of the brow. You can work on the whole brow with this movement. It's all correct. The length of my needle is 1.56 to 1.7. It depends on how thick are your pigments. If you work with permablend, I presume if you're in US, most of the people work with permablend. These are tattoo pigment. They are very liquidy. I would suggest to work with longer needle. Hello everyone, we have so many people from England, Brazil, UK, USA, Netherlands, Italy, Hawaii, Greece, Pennsylvania, Spain, Canada, Serbia, Germany. Look how many of us are here. And so many of Polish people here still watching this live. So, to summarize, we have 3 different types of lines, 3 different types of movements. And look now. As many linergists, so as many artists, as many techniques. Don't get crazy. On social media, social media groups, every day you can see dozens of pictures of pigmented lips, pigmented eyebrows, offer of different courses, workshops in every country. Yes? And how you can choose the right course? How? Yes? Remember that each technique is created with one of the line techniques or one of the shading techniques. So I would really like you to concentrate on practicing and perfecting your movements. If you get your movement, line movement and shading movement right, you will be able to create your own technique. Okay? So please don't finish one course and sign up for another one. Please stay at home, turn on your YouTube, take latex, prepare your machine and practice at home. You have to find some time to practice. If you won't find some time to practice, don't expect your work to get better, to look better and be better. Okay? Yes, you can tell me where you live, where you are from. We have Malta, Romania, Costa Rica, Cyprus, Switzerland. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So, coming back, we already know, don't get crazy, practice at home. This video will be, I would like you to go back to this video whenever you have some time to practice, whenever you would like to have company to practice with you. I'm here for you, and today I will show you everything you should know about your pyramid and your technique. Can I have the full screen, please? And here you can see we have the line on the top. On the bottom you can see movements. Yes? However, you will combine these movements, you will create individual techniques. So it's up to you which line you will choose to outline the brow, which shading technique you will choose to create the shading inside of your brow. We have movement away from you, towards you, and pendulum movement. Yes? Is this like clear so far? I hope it's clear so far. So, we move to another segment from our pyramid. Yes? So I would like to remind you how it looks. We already talked a little bit about movement and a little bit about lines. It's time for devices and pigments. What really matters is a machine that works perfectly, that distributes pigments perfectly, that allows you to create beautiful work, that makes your work stand out from another work of another artist, that it's just work. Machine has to work correctly, okay? It has to distribute the pigment evenly. You cannot have any problems with your machine. If you have problem with your machine, you should either send it to the manufacturer or person you bought the machine from, or you should buy a new one. I work with quantum machine, and I'm really happy with this machine. And for the pigmentation, any kind of pigmentation, I use 1-point needle. It can be 0.3 thickness, or it can be 0.25 thickness, so thinner needle. I do not work with higher, bigger configurations of needles, but it doesn't mean it's not correct to work with bigger configuration of needles. Okay, I'm just saying that for me, 1-point needle is more precise than any other needle. We also need pigments, and what's very interesting, some people, some artists don't really see the difference between the pigments for permanent makeup and for tattooing, for tattoos. You should know that pigments for like permanent pigments, eye color pigment, these are the pigments, tattoo pigments, okay? They stay in the skin much faster. The skin absorbs the pigment much faster. You will see the result within the first pass. The first pass will be more visible, but the pigment will also stay longer in the skin. It's a tattoo. It's not gonna fade over the time. You have to ask yourself if this is something that you really want for your client, okay? For me, I prefer to work with organic pigment, and for now I work with quantum pigments. And very often on social media, on YouTube channel, under my videos, in my Messenger, you ask me which pigments do I recommend and which are the most popular. I'm in love with pigment 04 and 02. It's Popstar and Bombshell. 02 it's for darker hair clients, and 04 for dark and light blonde clients, and you can build the density depending on the density you want to achieve or the effect you want to achieve. But these are the two must-have pigments, in my opinion, from Quantum line collection. I can see so many questions already on the screen. I'd rather answer them later on in the presentation. We have a little bit more time because later on we don't have any other language besides English language. But about the outline and speed of my machine, I would like to talk more when we will talk about the procedure. Yes, when we will talk about the procedure on a live model. How to work, but here we have a very good question. How to work properly with organic pigments that will not gray dots and gray tail, and how to work in different skin types. Should the device speed be slow? If you notice that your pigments hue in the skin too grayish, too cool, that means you work too deep, okay? Or for a very cool undertone, you have chosen very cool pigment, and it can also result in very grayish or grayish hued result, if that makes sense. Thickness of the needle 0.18 is very good for lips or hair strokes, but you have to remember that if you work with very thin needle, you also have to change the needle very often during the procedure, and I would suggest to change it a little, even twice during the procedure. Okay. Next slide might scare you or might shock you, but this slide will show you how you can check your machine if it works correctly. During workshops and trainings, I have the chance to work with different kind of machines, different kind of needles. I have the chance to meet different artists on different levels. But here on the screen you can see the machine that doesn't allow me to create the line, simple line. I will try to replay the video. Look, I'm trying to create the line, but at some point the needle stays in the skin. Can you see? Machine is broken. Or if the machine is not broken, sometimes it's the cartridge that doesn't fit the machine, that doesn't fit the handpiece. Remember that if the manufacturer has its own needles, they have the needles because the needle works perfectly with the handpiece they produce. Does it make sense? So it's worth of trying both. The needle that you can, it's a little bit cheaper, okay? And the needle that you can buy from manufacturer. If you are not able to create the line or shading movement with different kind of needle, you have to use the original needle. Is it right so far? Like, is it clear so far? Next slide. Can I have the full screen, please? Look at the difference between the yellow skin and light grayish skin. Let's say so. Look at the dots. Can you see the difference in between the dots? And I would like to know your answer. I'm not gonna tell you anything else about the difference between these two pictures. I'm waiting for your answer in comments. What's the difference between these two pictures? Who will try? And it's quiet. No one answer. Actually, when I speak slowly, it's scratching. Exactly. Yellow is scratching. And when your machine is scratching when it's broken. So if you would like to check your machine, if it works right, take the latex and do a few movements on the latex and check how your pixels looks on the latex. If you will see the latex that it looks very scratchy, you have the dot and scratch, that means you create something similar on the skin of your client. That means you can see more lymph on the skin of your client. That means that the scab will look, it's gonna be much bigger on the eyebrow of your client. Your lips might bruise. Your client might come back with no pigment in the skin but with pink scar. So you can see what can happen if you work with broken machine. Check your machine on the latex. Make sure your machine works perfectly and properly. On the right side you can see the grayish kind of skin, yes? Look at dots. They are very tiny dots. They are placed very close to each other. The top part of the movement is very transparent and translucent. You can tell we have the same situation on the bottom part of the segment. Yes? We didn't rush when I was creating this particular segment. Yes? Well done for your answers. Exactly, yellow looked like broken machine. So I'm really happy that you can see the difference. I'm really happy that you can notice the difference, and I hope that you will check your machine at home on latex before you will start to work on clients. Remember also that if you have the machine and you struggle with pigmentation because your machine doesn't implant the pigment, that means your machine is also broken and you should check it with your manufacturer or the seller. Whenever you practice, Lithuania, France, Croatia, Taiwan, Israel, Africa, Mexico, Colombia, so many countries. I wonder what time is it at your side. Here we have nearly 10 p.m. Okay, so when you practice on latex, when you choose one of the movements I showed you at the beginning of this live session, movement towards you, away from you, or pendulum movement, this is what you should achieve on latex. That's this kind of effect. The top part of the movement and bottom part of the movement is very transparent, and then the density of the movement is in the middle part of this section. Is it clear? I cannot wait to visit New York very soon. Hopefully in August we will travel to New York. I love New York. So okay, and now let's talk about courses and workshops. What's really important? How do you choose your courses? How do you choose your workshops? Why you are here? Are you missing something in your technique? You are not happy with your course, basic course, advanced course. You attended many expensive courses, but still your work doesn't satisfy you. Maybe it sounds familiar. I hope not, but it might does. When you choose your course, first of all, you have to make sure that you check the profile of the artist that offer you the course. Okay? If there is an academy that offers course, check who will teach you the technique that you want to learn. Check their profiles, the way they work. You have to attend courses and workshops of people that you have to like their work and the way they present and demonstrate their techniques. Okay? Okay. What you should also receive from your training academy or from the teacher when you attend the course is not only 3 empty pages from of just normal paper. You have to receive a workbook, practice skin, maybe eyebrow rulers, pigment, everything that will allow you to go through the course smoothly, will allow you to work during the course smoothly. If you are a beginner, you should also you should also be able to work with the machine. Yes, I would highly also recommend to talk to the academy that force you to buy the machine. You should be able first to try the machine before they force you to buy the machine. Okay? And by saying that, because there are so many of you in front of the screen, I would like to announce that maybe in the middle of this month, the latest and the end of this month, you will be able to not only buy my online courses, and not for like thousands of dollars, but for a small amount of money, online courses, full online courses, and from our online store you will be able to buy workbooks in which you will find every step of the procedure with exact and very dokładne, jak jest dokładne po swojemu? and with proper explanation of the technique. I forgot one English word and they failed. I already said that. With the exact informations from the pre-drawing procedure, how to take care of the client, how to take pictures, and we have it in English, Polish and Spanish, Española. And it's not going to be only about eyebrows, but also about lips. So that's my little surprise for you. And if you don't really want to miss this information when we will start to offer online courses, go and follow my Instagram, my name and my surname, and for sure I will announce it on my Insta story, but also you can send an email, and guys will write down emails in comments below. Coming back to the presentation. Practice on skins, on latex. What I would suggest you to do, we all know that we have different types of fake skin or different type of latex available on the market. And I know that many training academies offer you very cheap, low quality latex that allows you to create full brow within the first pass. This is not right. Just think about it. When you work on the client and you do the first pass, is your brow finished? No, it's not finished. In my academy and during my workshops, what we do, we work on thicker latex. I'm sure you can buy it at any tattoo store, but try to find the thicker latex that will not allow you to create first pass, okay? Like finish the brow within the first pass. I will show you the latex a little bit later. About the drawing, we will talk a little bit more because I can see the question. And now, we will practice very steady, constant movement. Remember that pigmentation should be like yoga session to you. Okay, we don't rush, we work slowly, and we count in our head, okay? And here, I can see that we didn't change the video from Polish to English, maybe by mistake, but what you can see is it should be in English. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. This is the way I would like you to work when you create the line. When we do the outline on the brow, we should check each segment at the time. So we start to outline the brow, we do 1, 2, 1, 2. We wipe off the pigment, we check if the line is there, and we continue the line. Doesn't make sense? I hope it does. One more time. Oh, there was 1, 2, I think. Yes? Yes, so can we play it one more time, please? Look, we have 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slowly. Remember that your thumb presses the handpiece when we create the line. Thumb should be relaxed when we create the shading movement. And one more time. You work only with the tip of the needle. The length of the needle, it has nothing to do with the depth of your work, okay? So even when you work with 2mm needle or shorter needle, you work only with the tip of the needle. You need more. I love this kind of comments. It makes me very happy, or it makes me laugh, I would say. I need more information about everything. I will do my best to give you information about everything, I promise. Maybe not today, but hopefully in our next live sessions and videos. Okay, so we already know how to create the line in constant and steady movement, very slowly. Yes? How many of you has your machine ready? No, during 1, 2, 1, 2, we don't lift the needle out of the skin. The needle is in the skin. You only lift out the needle when we create overlapping line. Yes, your movement should be slow and controlled. It's not 90 degrees angle. I would say that we create the line with an angle of 80. Dobra, okay. Time for shading. During my courses and workshops, if you ask someone what they remember from workshops, they would tell you that I always say slowly, slower, it's yoga session, don't rush, slower. That's what they remember. And this is something that I would like you to remember from our meetings here on YouTube. And look, when you create shading, I know that it might look that the movement is fast, but movement is not fast. It's constant. Movement is very steady. I move very slowly I move very slowly from one end to the other. Yes? Full screen, please. Try to count to 3 in your head. One more time, the same video, please. Okay, sorry. Full screen. Try to listen to the voice of the machine. Try to listen to the sound on this video. Yes, this movement is movement towards me. This is one movement. I will show you later on how to create the movement, pendulum movement and movement upward, yes? Yes, we work only with the tip of the needle. Whenever the needle is long, 2 millimeters, or shorter or longer, depending on the machine, I work only with the tip of the needle, and my movement is very slowly and constant. Let's summarize. I think this is not the... Wait, here. We have constant movement. Second movement, when we talk about the line, it's overlapping movement. Third line, we have backward forward movement. On the bottom, we have shading movement, shading away from us, so away from me, towards me, and pendulum movement. Sorry. And it's time to practice on models. How many of you... I can see that some of you work with one-way movement, but when it comes to pendulum movement, you start to create the zebra. I will try to talk about it a little bit later when we will practice on latex, so please be patient. Let's talk about the practice on live models. Okay, practice on latex. Nie wiedziałam, że mam już dwie kamery. Practice on models. What you should remember and what you should know is that not every skin is a perfect skin, and not every skin will allow you to create beautiful shading effect. Remember that when you work on older or mature skin, this effect will be completely different to work on young olive skin tone, undertone skin, olive undertone skin, okay? And don't be upset, don't get mad that your work doesn't look as work of other artists who publish work on social media. Remember that we all post work that we are happy with. We all post work to attract more clients. We post work to attract more students. We post work to attract more clients who want to get new brows or lips, okay? So you should remember that not every skin will allow you to achieve exactly the same effect. And you can compare skin, like oily skin, to orange. And here you can see the picture of close-up of orange. Yes, fruit. And we have oily skin. We have open pores, bigger pores, yeah, like you can see on the picture. If you would take now the orange to work on, you will see the more juice that comes out of the skin of orange, and exactly the same happens when you work on oily skin. Very thick skin, very problematic skin. And you should know that this is normal reaction of this kind of skin. Laura, will for sure, I will also record the video when I work on clients over 50, that's for sure. But then I will also try to analyze their health, because these people usually take more medication or have more health issues, and I would also like to include this kind of information in my videos. But of course, for sure, I will do this kind of video. We will talk about doing free models later on in this section. So far with the skin, is it clear? I will go back to this slide just because I would like to talk a little bit more about how to find models, how to find the right model, and if you should charge them. I will tell you how it looks from my point of view and how I deal with models at our academy and during my workshops. I do not charge models. I don't charge models for students, and I don't charge any model that comes to me and it's my model for during workshops or my demo model. Just say it that way. Why? They save their time. They are laying down for a little bit longer than normal client. They allow me to use their picture for marketing. They allow other students to look at them at one time. They allow students to take pictures of them when they lay on bed. Yes? So I do not charge models. And in my opinion, it's fair if we are also not charging them. But what you should know, it's when I look for models, they also have to have very good skin. They have to be younger. They have to look good. They have to have healthy skin. I don't really like to do models, my demo models, with fake eyelashes. I always think about pictures after treatment pictures, and about the promotion after this kind of workshops. Yes, so you also have to look for models that suit to your needs. And I can see the question about what kind of needle I use for open pore skin. You know, what I've noticed is that I achieve better result when I work with thinner needle on this kind of skin. So I started to work with 0.25 on open pore skin, but I change needle at least twice during the procedure, of course depending on the skin. Okay, so when you create outline on the brow, remember that the way I showed you how I create lines like previously, yes, that's the way you will create outline on the brows of your clients when you outline the brow, because some of you might still work with pendulum movement and segmental technique where we don't create outline, yes, where we don't outline the brow. But if you outline the brow, remember that you have to outline the brow in the way where contour is visible only to you, not to your client. Your segment has to blend beautifully with, or no, I would say a different way. Your contour should blend beautifully with pigmented area, pigmented segment. So, when we outline the brow, you have to remember to check your work step by step. You start at the beginning of the brow, you go in the skin very slowly, you wipe off the pigment, line is there, very soft, you go and create another segment. If pigment is not there, you repeat the same spot, the same area, and then if the pigment is finally there, you can move to another segment. I don't do freckles, I don't specialize in freckles. Okay, so we outlined the first part of the bottom of my brow, yes? And now, when you are coming towards the tail of the brow, remember that our pigment, our area gets thinner, yes? So at the tail, you should outline the top part and bottom part and then wipe it off. So this way, you want to lose the thickness of your tail and the length of your tail. Also, what you should remember when we talk about the tail, the thickness of the skin on the tail and arch area, so this part of the brow, it's different to the beginning of the brow. Yes, you should be more careful when you work at the tail. If you analyze your work, very often many artists work too deep on the tail of the brow, and as a result they achieve grayish, darker tail in compared to the beginning of the brow. Which part is best to start, head or tail of the brow? Both ways are correct. You can start either from the head of the brow or tail of the brow. If you are scared that you will go too deep at the beginning, start from the tail, yes. When we talk about ombre brows in general, we know that we build the gradient from the tail, moving through the middle part towards the beginning. And the beginning of the brow is the softest part of the brow, yes? So if you make a mistake or you go too deep at the beginning, Houston, we have the problem. We are too deep. Yes? So, you can start any way. What it means, do you change the needle twice during the procedure? The thinner the needle, remember that... jak jest ścierać się, igła, że się ściera? Jest tarcie po skórze. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right word. You know, when you work... What?
Friction.
Friction? Friction. Okay, so when you work with the thin needle on very thick skin for so long, remember that because of the I'm trying to find the right word. The needle, it's not as sharp after a few like 20 minutes, half an hour, like after some time. Doesn't make sense? It bends. So you have to change the needle. Blunt. Thank you so much. I will remember it for the next time. You always help me when I'm trying to find the right word. So, coming back to our outline. What I learned from your messages and emails, I know that some of you had problem with contour technique, with outlining the top and bottom part of the brow. What you should start to do now, or what you can start to do now, is you can outline the bottom and arch part with the line, as you can see on the picture, and do a slight, very delicate and light shading on the top part of the brow. And the same at the beginning of the brow. Remember that when you apply the anesthetic on the brow, your contour and top part of the brow will become more visible, as you can see on the picture here. To outline the second brow, so left brow, and to avoid achieving darker tail, you can change the position, move to another side of the bed, and from the other side of the bed, you can outline the tail. But remember that from left side of the bed, we only outline the tail, and then to outline second part of the brow, we are coming back to the right position. I hope it does make a sense. Questions? No questions. Okay, let's move to another picture. Tails. So many of you struggle with achieving a very thin and sharp tail. Remember that you don't want to create tattoo on the tail of the brow. You don't want to create like a triangle, but you want to create kind of shape of the triangle, which after healing looks soft. And to create this kind of tail, you have to understand one of the movements I told you at the beginning. You can create the tail with one of these movements. Pendulum movement, movement towards yourself and away from you. Yes? You have to work very slowly. And what's really important, when you work with when you outline the brow first, and you want to fill in the tail of the brow, you have to start exactly on the edge of your tail, so exactly on the contour. Your shading starts on the line, so on your outline, and then slowly we go up, slowly we go down. We will repeat this movement twice, so we go up, down, up, up, down, again, up, down. We wipe off the pigment. If the pigment is there, you can move to another segment. You have to remember that you can move to another segment if your segment blends beautifully with the contour that you created at the first pass. I never said, there is a question. Outline with permablend is not right. I heard it in one of your videos. No? False. I never said it's not right. I said that permanent pigments are tattoo pigments, and you have to be very careful when you work with this kind of pigments. Why? Because these are tattoo pigments. They don't forgive mistakes. If you go too deep and you create too dark line within the first pass, it will look much darker when eyebrows are healed, and it's very difficult to be removed. Yes. So you either dilute the permanent pigment when you create the line, or try to work with permanent makeup pigments, because remember that permanent pigments, they have the line that is suitable for permanent makeup artists, but these are not permanent makeup pigments. These are tattoo pigments, but it doesn't mean they are not good. How many passes average? If you will work with the speed of the machine, with speed of the movement in each segment, as I will show you in my next video, next slide, then 3 passes is enough to finish the full brow. And with 4th pass, you just enhance the middle and bottom part of the brow, and you finish the brow working with dots at the beginning of the brow. So 3 passes, with 4th pass we only enhance the brow in the middle section. I work with quantum pigments. I will ask guys to post or to write down the link to our online shop. And at the beginning of this video I said that 2 must-have pigments are 02 and 04. You can check my Instagram. Mostly I work with these 2 pigments, and I'm super happy with healed result. I love when my work heals super natural, when my clients without makeup look just snatched, and permanent makeup doesn't look fake. So I would recommend you to try it. They are 5 ml only, so they don't cost that much, and anyway, I'm sure that you will love it, and you will be happy with the way they stay in the skin or they heal. Kelly, we will write down a link for English online store right now. Any questions about the tail or shading? Or everyone is just sitting there and listening carefully? Okay. And now can we have the full screen, and I will play the video, please? And here we have the tail. Look at the way I hold my handpiece, first of all, and look at the way I stretch the skin with my left hand. I hold my hand on the forehead, but also on the side of the face of my client. With thumb of my left hand, I stretch the skin towards, like, downward. And with my small finger, I stretch the skin under the brow. Yes? We wipe off the pigment. Remember that to not wipe off your pre-drawing. Very often my students, they are so excited about the first pass, they wipe off half of the pre-drawing. You finish the segment, you just wipe off the segment that you already finished. Go down slowly. Your segment is there, you can move to another one. Your tail is not there. You stay in exact segment, okay? Now, if you will create the full brow with exactly the same speed of your movement, the speed of your hand, the speed of, if you will move from one side to the other with exactly the same speed, you can create the full brow within 3 passes, okay? Can I have the full screen, please? And please focus and concentrate on my movement. Look how slowly I move from bottom to the top part of the brow. Mogę? Potrzebuję ładowarki do komputera, bo pisze, że jest słaba bateria. Dobra, przepraszam już. Sorry, I have to put my computer on charge, otherwise it will switch off. We are back. Sorry, my fault. Okay, so I'll play one more time the video. Full screen, please. Thank you. No. Depth is not 1.5. Depth has nothing to do with the length of the needle. We work only with the tip of the needle. I'm using on what are you using on the Q-tip to clean? I use diluted green soap with water in right proportions, of course, and one side of Q-tip is dry and the other one is damp. Welcome back, everyone. And with the same speed and the same amount of strokes, we are going down. Very often, my students go very slowly from the bottom to upward and then very fast in 3 strokes from the top to bottom. Your movement from the top to bottom has to be exactly the same as from the bottom to the top. Hopefully it does make sense. I use 02 and 04, Bombshell and Popstar. These are the 2 pigments I'm using most often. Presentation, please. Thank you. And here you have first pass with permanent makeup pigments. Don't expect from your pigmentation to finish your brow within the first pass. The lighter the color, less pigment you will have within the first pass. Okay? And this is something that you have to understand. You have to build the density. You have to create the density. You have to build up the brow. Okay? After first pass, we apply, of course, anesthetic suitable for an open skin. And then, if you are more advanced and you're not the beginner, you can try to work with movement that goes upward when we start to create, when we start to fill in the brow. Can you see the direction of my shading on the brow on the screen? Yes. But of course, if you're a beginner and you're scared that you might go outside of your shape, work horizontally to your contour, okay? Don't try to go outside if you don't feel confident enough. In the last video, you showed in just one section how many times do you go from one side of outline to the other side total. No. If I work on my brow, I do it this way. I start on the bottom. I work with the speed I showed you. I will go back to this video because this is a very good question. So I go from the bottom up. We have to wait a little bit because it's very steady and constant movement. It's our yoga. Remember about pigment. I go up, and this is not even my first pass. Now I have to go down from the top to bottom part, and I repeat this twice, and that's my first segment, my first pass. I wipe it off, but if my pigment is not there because for some reasons skin didn't absorb the pigment, I have to repeat the same spot one more time. Does it make sense? How do you keep everything so clean? My pigment ends up spraying when it goes through the hair. Well, it depends with what kind of pigments you work, but if your needle is too short and your speed is too fast, your movement is quite long, it might end up in very messy work. As you can see, I'm trying to work quite slowly, I would say, and the needle, as I said at the beginning, is at 1.6 length. Beginnings of the brows, our cherry on the top, our cherry on the cake. Yes, we all love beautiful, fluffy, soft, shaded ombre brows. Will you agree? Yes. But I know so many of you have only 1 hour and a half for the client, you rush. Another client, next client is waiting in the waiting area. You have to finish the brow. You just quickly fill in the beginning of the brow and then you are not happy with your result. Guess why? Because you don't focus and you don't stay in this area for a little bit longer. You're not precise in this area and you should be. Yes? You have to spend a little bit more time and you have to be more precise at the beginning of the brow to make this area perfect. Okay? That's right, Laura. Cherry on the cake. Even Facebook has its icon. And now, we can create beginning of the brow by placing small, tiny dots. But what you have to remember is that when you place dots, you have to place them, you have to place a lot of them and very gently. You cannot expect the dots to be visible after placing one dot. So when we wipe off the dots, you will see only transparent layer of dots. Okay? And here I would like to show you on the video how exactly it looks on the client. So can we have the full screen, please? How long do you think one session for ombre brows should take, including mapping? It depends if you're a beginner, it depends if you're advanced, it depends if your client has asymmetry, it depends if your client has very difficult skin, it depends if your client has different expectations than your vision. There are so many different factors that are important and are included in your treatment time, okay? You don't have to finish your treatment in 1, 2 or 3 hours time. If you need more time for mapping, just spend more time for mapping, just to make sure that your work is perfect and beautiful, okay? No, I don't make brows darker since they will fade when healed. I prefer to create a lighter effect after first procedure and then make them darker within the second procedure, so during the touch-up. I do not apply Vaseline between the layers. What I do at the end of the procedure, like whenever I work, if I work on one brow and then I decide to work on second brow, on the brow that I already finished, I apply very thin layer of, you might apply Vaseline actually at this point, or I apply Bepanthen. You can find it on Amazon. So you can see that the dots are very delicate. And we apply them not only at the beginning, but also on the top of the brow and on the bottom of the brow to make the bottom part softer. I don't like very harsh lines when it comes to permanent makeup. When I create the brow, I also like to sit behind the client, behind the bed. I ask my client to bring the chin up, and I will show you how I like to finish beginning of the brow. Full screen, please. With the touch-ups, do you map the brows again? It depends. It depends if my brow is, if I have the shape I'm happy with and I can see my temple, then I do not, I don't map brows again. But if I'm not sure about the thickness of my brows, the length of the brows, I do mark these areas, or I do draw them again on my client. I'm using green soap diluted with water in the right proportions, and I also like to use foam. You can see on my Instagram, if you check my Instagram, I use foam. It's available also in our store. You ask me about this foam very often under my pictures. Guys, you can post the link to the shop with foam. Not to the, nie do sklepu, tylko do pianki, bo dziewczyny pytają o piankę. Kiri, I'm very happy that you like to work with rulers. I googled quantum, couldn't find the color she mentioned. Dziewczyny mówią, że nie potrafią znaleźć pigmentów 02 i 04. Możecie wstawić linki do sklepów w komentarzu. Okay, guys will paste link to the shop where you can find pigments I like, 02 and 04. So it's going to be easier for you, and it's going to be also in English. Presentation, thank you. When you look at the brow, look at the density, how we build the density, starting from the tail, moving towards the bulb of the brow. The top part and beginning is the softest area of the brow, and that's how you should keep it. But remember that the density, the difference in between the color, in the density between the bottom part and top part cannot be very big, huge, or very visible. Why? Because when your clients come back to you, when you finish the procedure and the bottom part will be very dark, with the tail very dark and top part very light, your client will come back to you without the top part of the brow. And that's my picture of perfect brow. This is, in my opinion, that's my very, maybe not perfect picture of brow, but this is my favorite type of pigmentation. The top part is very soft, the middle part is a little bit darker or dense, bottom part is soft. You can see tiny dots, no swelling, yes? And this was my model before, and what you have to remember is that you have to educate your clients. When your client comes to you, remember that you should treat your client like a baby. She doesn't have to have the knowledge about permanent makeup, about how it's going to look. Very often your clients see pictures of cropped work on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, and they don't see the full face, or they see the full face, they like the result, but when it comes to them, the effect after the procedure, for example, looks too dark, they are not happy. Yes? And they are scared. You tell them, please don't worry, it's gonna look lighter, just wait a few weeks, you will see the final color. But the next day, I hate my brows. I don't know what to do. Everyone criticize them. And you get this kind of comments. That's why you should educate your client from the first moment she walks into your salon, and you should educate your client and build the trust when you do the pre-drawing on your client. Remember that the pre-drawing should visualize the final effect to your client, yes? And now, I will show you the final effect of my client. One eyebrow, she rises one eyebrow higher, and that's normal. You can see on me that I also rise my right eyebrow higher. And I always say that to prevent this active and passive side of the face when it comes to our muscles, your client should visit a doctor and get Botox in the area that needs Botox. But look at her when eyebrows are healed. Can I have the full screen, please? It looks completely different, yes? But you wouldn't even tell she has permanent makeup. It looks so soft and so clean. This is the effect after first session. I used here pigment 04, so one of my favorites, I already told you. It's called Bombshell. Of course, there are some spots missing. We already did the second touch-up, like a second procedure touch-up, and we filled in the missing areas on the bottom part under the arch. But you can tell that the effect is very soft and natural, and this is the effect I would like you to offer to your clients. I would like you to educate clients that they have to look good with no makeup on, okay? Permanent makeup should enhance the natural features of your clients when they look, when they are with no makeup on. Pre-drawing, where magic happens. I know pre-drawing, it might be tricky, it might be difficult. For the pre-drawing, I already told you in my videos, I use pencil, flat pencil. I have to sharpen the pencil to make it flat and sharp. I use a ruler, I use concealer, flat brush and translucent powder. That's all, okay? And now, I know some of you bought our pencils but have problem with sharpening the pencils. So here is the video for you how to sharpen the pencils with the blade and not cut off the finger before we start the procedure. So please pay attention to this video. Can I have the full screen, please? So I do sharpen the pencil with a blade, but not like a simple blade you sharpen most of the waxy pencils. It's blade that has its hand tool, like microblading hand tool. I start to sharpen the pencil not from the very end top, but I leave about, like you can see, 2 centimeters of the pencil, just to make sure I have enough of the pencil inside. Jest rysik. I'm checking. Grafit. Hello Marika. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you soon. So, slowly and carefully remove the wood from the pencil. And now it's time to sharpen the pencil. Pigment 04 is suitable for blonde clients. It's not recommended for very dark skin, so I would suggest to try 02 pigment, not 04. Between the Botox procedure and primer makeup procedure, I would wait 2 weeks at least, 2 weeks. In about a month time, we will also have a collection of darker pigments suitable for darker skin. And here on the video you can see how thin your pencil should be after sharpening. For the pre-drawing, so many of my students and me myself, I use my rulers. We designed these rulers to our needs and to needs of our students. And just a quick reminder how to use them. On the ruler you can see 2 different colors. We have red color and we have blue color. Depending on the width of your the forehead of your client and the space in between the middle part of the brow and the beginning of the brow starts at 1 centimeter or 1.5. If the brow starts at 1 centimeter, which you can see on the ruler, the highest point arch will be at 4.5 and the tail will be at 7. If the brow starts at 1.5 at blue point, the arch will be at 5 and tail at 7.5. To outline the brow, I use concealer, which I put on my glove. I don't take any kind of any product straight from the container. So whenever you have any kind of product, apply small amount of the glove on the glove and then use this product on your client. Okay? Remember that you work with the skin where you will open the, you will work with an open skin, yes? So for the outline I use flat brush, and now why I'm showing you this slide. I always talk about outlining the brow with the concealer, but not very often everyone understands what you can really achieve with the concealer, okay? Use only a tiny bit of concealer. We only outline, look, we outline the bottom part of the brow, bottom, so we have right brow and left brow. We outline the bottom part of the brow sitting from the right side of the bed, okay? If you want to outline the top, if you want to outline the top part of the brow, we change the position, okay? And top part of the brow, both brows, we outline from the left side of the bed. This way you avoid going over your pre-drawing, and your line will be much more precise, okay? Coming back to the previous slide, you have to see the exact edge in between the concealer and your pre-drawing. Concealer should mark your bottom line. Your line should be sharp, become sharp after outlining. Of course, we check our pre-drawing when our client sits up with eyes open and closed, yes? But what you can also do, you can stand up like behind your client, ask her to bring her chin up and stretch the brow the way I stretch the skin here on the picture. So put your thumbs close to each other on the same level, stretch the skin upward, and with the rest of your hands just stretch the skin to both sides of your client's face. I don't know if that's clear. Hopefully it is. Yes? And this way, if we look at the picture, you can see, check the bottom of the brow. Is on the same level? Is the thickness of the brow the same? The level of the tails? The height of the arch? If yes, you can move to translucent powder. With translucent powder, remember to apply translucent powder. Not powder in any light colors. It has to be translucent, transparent, okay? You can get it at any drugstores, or I know in the US you love to shop on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, yes? And now, when you use translucent powder, tap it properly on the brow, in between the hair, and then properly wipe it off. You don't want to leave your client like you would put the flower on the brow. You don't want your client to look like they have flour on the brow. You have to wipe it off properly, and this way you will prevent smudging and smearing during the procedure. Here you can see Diana, that's the name of this model, and she's actually also my manager. She is responsible for answering your emails and messages from now on. You can see her brow. This is pre-drawing, and her brow on the second day, day after procedure. You can see that the pre-drawing, I could say, it visualized the effect that we achieved at the end, yes? The same shape, the gradient, of course, on my social media I will show you here the result, but when I showed her the mirror with the pre-drawing, it's exactly the same effect we achieved at the end. Okay. Pictures. What you have to remember and what you have to understand, that pictures gives you or allows you to this is your first step to proper marketing, and this is your first step of getting clients. So you have to take care of your client after and before the procedure. Build a relationship with your client from the moment she walks into your salon. Make her feel confident and comfortable at your salon. When she lays down and you want to take picture, tell her that she will look beautiful, and pay attention to how you hold your phone. When your client lies down, let's pretend this is my client. Okay, that's my client. Here is her head. That's my phone. Yes? Can you see the proportions here? It makes a difference, yes? So that's my phone. I don't stand like this, and I don't take picture this way, with the angle like this. Otherwise, you will get a client, you will get the picture with huge nose, yes? Like on the first picture. To achieve or to get the photo, to get the picture as on the second picture, you have to stand more behind the client and turn your camera down. Look, with the angle. This is my angle. Yes? This camera is better. Ta. Można tą z przodu kamerę? Tamta boczna nic nie daje. This way. So this is head of my client. I stand more here, behind the client. I don't hold my phone this way. I stand more this way. If you want to zoom the picture on the brow, don't hold your phone here, because you will lose the resolution of the picture. Yes? Hold it closer to the brow, but also tell your client that you will take closer picture, so she knows that she doesn't have to look with both eyes into the camera. Does it make sense? So one more time, we talk about proportions. Marketing. This is my favorite part, and I might surprise you, because so many of people always say that I have people who run my Instagram, all my social media accounts. Of course, I have an amazing team, and what's funniest, I have most of the people that are in my team are guys. And that's funny. And they know a lot about permanent makeup. Yes, they are happy here, like, yeah, standing behind. Yes? But what you should remember, or what you should know, is that I run my social media, I edit my pictures, I edit videos, I prepare them for post-production. I spend hours and hours to prepare all the content for you, to write content on my social media, to prepare videos. Of course, I cannot imagine my life without them, and my company wouldn't function without them. But remember that your job is to learn also how to run your business from marketing point of view. No one will run your social media as you will. No one knows your clients. No one knows your vision. You have to prepare like a business plan for next month. You should post pictures every day on Instagram, and I will show you in a minute how I do it, how my statistics looks like. I think I'm tired already. It's here 11 p.m. It's late. So, besides Facebook, Instagram or YouTube, you should have your website. On website, you should have all the information about what's permanent makeup, what's the ombre technique, how your client should prepare for the procedure, what's the aftercare, what they can do, what they cannot do before and after procedure, what are the contraindications. These are the information that should be visible for your client on your website or social media. And then we have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You should analyze your channels and your target group. And of course, you should take pictures. And to motivate you more, what I would like to show you, what I would like to show you is my YouTube channel, the way we grow. And this is my baby, and I'm super proud of it. And there is a funny story behind it. The picture with 14.5K, I took this print screen about 2-3 weeks ago. But I would like to talk more about my 318 subscribers. Back then, when I started YouTube, I didn't really believe in myself. I wasn't really super sure if people would like to watch this kind of content. I wasn't really sure how people will react and if someone would like to subscribe to my channel. And every day, every morning, when I had my coffee, I was checking my YouTube. I was checking how many subscribers I gained on my YouTube channel. And I remember when I gained 300 subscribers and it didn't stop to grow. And I was saying to Philip, and I told Philip that, oh my God, I can't wait. I don't believe that I will get 500 people. And Philip said that I would do like this and you will have 1,000. Today, it was a couple days ago, we have more than 50,000 subscribers. But I can celebrate now hard work that was put into this channel, that it's put every day into our business, that it's put into our after work hours. It's not only about hours when I do clients. When I finish clients or courses, I stay up to very late hours and I edit my photos, edit videos, I plan each of my weeks. I create my business plan, not only for next month or week or a year. Yes, we plan ahead, and this is something that you also should do. Okay. And by saying that, I would like to show you something that no one else really likes to show. And I'm also very proud of it, and I want to motivate you. But before I go to statistics, I would like to ask you to do something on your Instagram. On your Instagram, you all should fill in your bio. Not bio where I read, I love horses, golf, and my only hobby is Netflix. We all love Netflix, yes? But what you should include in your bio is I'm permanent makeup trainer and artist. I have my YouTube channel, so check my YouTube channel. Join my international workshops. There are not many so far, but there will be. And of course, I'm based in Warsaw, Poland. You have all the basic information about me. You should also include basic information about you. You should run Instagram channel, like business and private all together. Don't only post your pictures of your work. Post your private pictures. Don't show your private life. Just, take whatever you want to post on social media. You should link to your website, you should link to your contact, and you should also connect your fan page from your Facebook. In which program do I edit photos? Made to, Facetune, and layout for Instagram. And wait, I will show you something now. There was a time from October to January, middle of January, where I had to step back to look at our industry in a little bit different way. I had to step back to think how I want you to grow, how I want you to grow by my side. So I looked at myself, what I want to do for you in 2020. And by saying and doing that, I stopped publishing posts and Insta stories as often as I used to do. And if you are following my Instagram since a year back, you know that I had posts where I had 1, 2, 3,000 likes or a few hundred comments. And when I stopped posting, my engagement dropped a lot. And here I will show you my real statistics from my Instagram. And this is something that you can also check, and you should analyze and you should monitor daily on your Instagram. You can see how many followers I have, how many I gained, how many people unfollowed me for any reason. Yes? You can see how many people reach my account. You can see the impression and interactions. When I saw this statistics in between January, you can see the dates, I was like, Paulina, you have to start to work hard and you have to go back on track with your Instagram, because this is not right. Yes? So from this day, this was my motivation. I really wanted this to change. And I started to post daily to reach higher amount of people who watch my Insta story and to reach my post. 2 weeks of hard work, 2 weeks of posting daily, 2 weeks of posting pictures. Can you see the difference? From being minus 32,000 on impression to being plus 249,000. The engagement changed. Yes? You really have to start to work on your social media. Don't look at your clients. Don't look at your competitions. Don't look at your competitors. Start to think about yourself. Start to think about your clients. Start to talk to your clients. Don't be scared of publishing videos of you talking to your clients, explaining how the procedure should look like. It's your business, your client pays you money, and you should be surrounded only by people who really support you, who follow you, and who want to be at your side when you are successful, but also when you are not as much successful. Okay? And here also you can see when you will change your private profile on Instagram to business profile on Instagram, you can see the post insights. So you can see how many people reach your post, how many likes you have, engagement in comments, how many people sent this post to other people, and how many people saved this post to the archive. Yes? Any questions? But Paulina, what do you post when you don't have enough pictures of your work? One client gives you possibility of 4 posts. You can post picture before and with pre-drawing, explaining to your client how to pre-draw and how to find the perfect shape of your client for your client. You can post pictures to show picture before and after close-up of the brow. You can post picture of pre-drawing and after the procedure of full face of your client. You can post the video of close-up. You can post the full face video of your client. Look how many posts I already created for you from one client. If you don't have enough pictures of clients, try to advertise for free clients, for free models. Try to look for good-looking models with beautiful skin. Try to create beautiful pigmentation, not in rush. Perfect every detail. And again, you have 5 posts. I work with Quantum Machine, and I will post the link to online shop later after when we finish live, or guys can post it here in comments now. Shading I always do with 90 degrees. Lines, outline, I work with slight angle. Do you have any questions, or there is no more questions? Let me know if you have more questions, but before I wait for your questions, I would like to summarize our life. This last slide is very important to me, and this is something I'm trying to teach my students. I'm trying to teach girls that attend my classes, that attend my workshops, courses, people who are in my online group, people who message me on social media. Please don't criticize. Please don't judge. Be nice to each other. I know that we can stay unknown in social media, online, but just try to put yourself in other people's shoes. I don't know if that's the right sentence, but I'm sure you understand. Be nice to each other. Help each other. You should know that your compliment might help other people to become much better. Your compliment might help other people to, I don't know, get rid of I don't know, bad habits, co jeszcze? There are so many things. I think I'm already tired. Yes, you can be the best motivation to other people. That's so important. So please don't judge, please don't criticize, and just be an inspiration to other people. Share good energy, give a good word. And if you have something to say to someone, or you would like to give a good advice, just say it in private. Don't do it publicly, or say it in a gentle way. Shall we finish? It's 11:10 here. It's Sunday. One more time, I would say I have an amazing team behind the screens, behind the scenes. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for being with me during this first live session in 2020. I promise to see you more often live, and of course I promise to post videos more often on my YouTube. But by saying that, I would really love you to suggest. Me what kind of topics you would like me to talk about. What should I post on my YouTube or social media? What you would like to see? Just let me know. You can email me. You can message me on Instagram, or you can leave the comment here below. I know we forgot to create the screen for this presentation. I don't know how it happened, but I have so many requests from you about my workshops in English. In August, we will have workshop in Poland for all my foreign followers, artists, students. I will post more information in the description of this video. But if you would like to find more information, if you are interested, you can simply message me on Instagram, and then my manager will send you more information. Thank you so much for today. I love you so much. You are my inspiration. You give me the energy, and I would like to wish you a beautiful day or beautiful night, depending where you are now. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.